Welcome to the New Year's Eve Say What radio show. We're going to do a pre-recording, and this is of Dave Corso, who is being interviewed by Dolly Howard. It is taken from 4 hours of recording. I have only pulled out basically what Dave said. That's going to go on for about an hour and 20 minutes. At the end of that, I'm going to play clips from Dave's radio shows in the hopes that you get a better feeling for who he is and why we like him. So, Happy New Year, everybody out there. Have fun. I hope that you can really glean the actual honor it is to know Dave Corso. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, you'll feel like you know Dave Corso. So, thanks everybody. This is Nancy Hopkins along with Colleen Kelly wishing you a very happy new year. And on with the show.
So, I learned that it's okay to be me. I'm an okay person. And y'all at Wolf Spirit helped me to arrive at that spot, this place I'm at now. Because without all your encouragements and your loves, and without all the peoples that come and chat with us and encourage us, I wouldn't be to where I am today. I want all the chatters and listeners to know that you have been a big part of my life, and you and Colleen and Annette has grown in the last year, and watching my daughter grow like she has grown has been wonderful to me. And I think Wolf Spirit has a lot to do with it, because you all have become my family. You're my friends, you're my family. And I want you all to know I love you very much, and when I say it, I mean it. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas holiday season, let's put it that way, because there's so many of us who have so many different beliefs. I want to say I hope you all have a happy holiday season, and you keep coming back to Wolf Spirit and Hagee Shack Radio. Because I strongly believe that we are all connected. I think we've been connected previous to this. That's why we're all gathering in this one spot. And I want to thank Dave for creating that spot for us to come to. And I appreciate that he still comes to us.
We should let him know that he's welcome to join in at any time. I'm sure he knows that.
Dave?
We didn't exactly schedule this.
No, we didn't. Hey, Dave. Nancy and I are doing a Christmas thingy. Did you want to come in and say something? He's being a curmudgeon. Stop that. Just say if you don't want to come. He says, I'm really busy, Dolly. What are you busy doing? None of your damn business.
Okay.
Oh, are you going to come in or not? Yes, he's here. He's here. All of a sudden, he's all here.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have any words to say to the Hagee Shack and Wolf Spirit people? He says that you're all doing, most of you are doing good, and keep up the good work to continue to open your minds more and open your hearts and souls more, because there's so much out there that we can receive in way of loves, in way of knowledge. and that this next year is going to be a wowzer year. Wowzer? Yeah, he says wowzer. Okay. And he says to the newcomers to the station, just relax, because the people who frequent the chat room can help you. He says there will be some loony bins that come in, and you're intelligent enough to figure out the loony bins from the really sincere type people. The people are sincere, but yet they have a good sense of humor. And he appreciates all the people that are coming in. Okay, all right. He says he appreciates most of the people who are coming in. He says there's those one or two that are pretty out of there. What? Okay, say that to me a different way. He's trying to send us all. I'm seeing all these sparkles, Christmas color sparkles being showered on us. And he says that they're little bits of a whole that have broken off, that are full of love for us, full of happiness for us, full of joy, for that he can be a part of our lives yet. And that we are still part of his existence. And he looks forward to the day when we can all be together in the same place and throw a big party. I see he's doing streamers and those bells you twist around. He really is looking forward to when we can all be together again in the same place. More so than we ever were before, because before we were only together on the air, but now he's looking forward to being together in the air. You're too funny. Okay, now he's in the party mood. He's got a party hat on. It's a kind of like an elf hat that he's got on, and he's dancing around having a good time. And he says, some people are going to be very lonely and depressed at Christmas time. And he thinks that if they find their way here to Peggy Shack and Wolf Spirit, that it will help them to get through the hard holiday for them. He realizes that holidays are the hardest time of the year for people. And he says, if you come to Wolf Spirit and Hagee Shack, you can feel free and please be brave to express what you're feeling, because there is a lot of support there. Especially at this time, you will receive the support you need. Plus, you'll receive some information that you never thought you knew, you didn't know. Information that you need to hear and didn't know you needed to hear it. That's what you're going to glean when you come here, especially at this time of the year. But he says throughout the year, if you can open yourself now and try to get out of your depression, talking to the people and expressing yourself, that the rest of the year you'll find that you're going to grow. Spiritually, emotionally, knowledge, base is going to grow, and he encourages y'all to keep coming. Keep coming here and being with everyone. And so he is saying, rather than happy holidays, he wants to say happy living. Happy living here and forever. And he says, he said enough. Oh, thank you, Dave. I love you. He loves us all.
Thank you, Dave.
He
And
says,
boy, I felt that I'm the only one here live with you right now because this is a recording, and I felt those light bubbles of oh my God, I'm still kind of like tingling from it. So I know the power of what we're doing, and it's just a good demonstration. You're listening to a recording, but you probably felt those light bubbles. You should have felt those light bubbles. And Dave Corso, just so people know who he is, he's the man that started up Wolf Spirit with JP and others. There were others involved in it. And when he passed 2 years ago, it's 2 years ago, wow, in July. Yeah, it was in July.
wow.
He just never left his influence and his ability to communicate, not just to Dolly, but a lot of people out there have had communication from Dave, myself included. He's actually slapped me in the back of the head a couple of times. So, and I didn't actually meet the man. I talked to him once, was introduced to him, but that's it. He is a spectacular addition to what we do, but without him, we probably, I'm sure, well, first off, it wouldn't exist, but we probably wouldn't be so secure in what we do. Because not only do we work with angelic beings and nature spirits and higher selves, we work with Dave Corso, who is a super soldier, an amazing person, and he continues to reinforce that this is an experience of experiencing, of learning. And when he passed over, what was it that he said? So I think the question to him was something to the effect of, well, what do you do next, or what are you doing, or what are you supposed to be doing? And he said something to the effect of, well, I'm supposed to be deciding where I'm going to go, but I've decided not to decide yet.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
He says, I still haven't decided. He says, I'm everywhere. I'm doing everything I want to do, and I'm everywhere. And he says, now I can be everywhere. I can be more places than one at the same time. And yeah, he does pop in and see people.
Yeah, a lot
and touch them.
Yeah, yes, he is touchy-feely.
Yeah.
He also is a great dancer.
Yeah.
I have danced with him. And anybody out there that hears this and resonates with it, open yourself up, and Dave, you'll feel him. He's he's saying, he can be anywhere, anytime. You know, and that's the key to people that are actually operating in frequencies faster than the speed of light, so we can't see them. You know, that it's just, you think about them and they're right there.
Yeah.
You know, there's no distance, there's no time. It's an amazing experience that he has gifted us with.
Yeah. And a proof that you have a spirit with you, well, at least my proof is, you get goosebumps and your hairs stand up all over your body, and you get this energy around you and you just know that you're not alone.
Well, it's interesting because I've got you on video, and the first time I ever was on video Skype with you and Dave showed up, we weren't even talking about him. He just popped in, and you looked surprised. I mean, you jumped back, oh, hi, Dave, you know, like this. And when you did that, I went, well, this girl is not faking this, you know. I mean, because you were absolutely, you know, spooked by the fact that he was sitting suddenly in front of you. And today when you were talking to him, you tend to look in the direction that he's at.
Yeah,
and
he's right there.
Yeah, right. And you'll a lot of times you're just talking, but sometimes it's like you look at him to, clarify that, or, it just, watching you do this is even more impressive than just hearing you communicate over the radio. And so I'm gonna testify that, in my opinion, it's very real. Plus the fact that he has come and visited me many times. He is a fun-loving guy, and I just love his energy.
I do too.
Yeah, we're very blessed by him. But
Yes,
now, as long as he's still here, is there anything that he suggests we, sort of get a mindset about the 17? Should we just play it by ear? Should we work to, I don't know, anything that he can tell us, sort of like to get us going on the next year?
I'm listening. Hold on. Okay, that's a lot. Hold on. Let's go a little at a time. He gets all excited. He really appreciates the fact that Standing Rock happened. He appreciates that Colleen kept up on it so much and shared it with everyone over the air. He said we seem to get the most honest thing that was going on there, and he says that. Oh, I got goosebumps. He says we are going to be having more incidents that happen in 2017, but because Standing Rock happened, and because so many people came together, and he's so proud of the vets. He is so frickin' proud of the vets. Because all these nationalities came together, and the buffalo came in response to prayers that were held at Standing Rock. He says there's so much proof to know that when people unite, we can accomplish any damn thing we want. And he says that because this first one happened, that people are going to become more brave and more outspoken. And he wants WSR and HSR to stay up with those kind of events. He says where there is unity, we need to be in the midst of reporting it. He says we don't necessarily have to be there in person, but make sure we have contact with some people who are there in person, who are telling us fact and not fiction, because there will be some that are there to cause trouble and do fiction stuff. But he says most of the people who will be gathering as United Front are going to really be United Front and going toward positivity for everyone. And he's all excited. What? This is the year of... He says this is the year of what he's going to call unity. We're going to be uniting more so than ever before. And he's very excited about that. He says, don't be afraid to report what is happening. He says because sometimes it will be a scary thing to be telling truth, because there's people out there now who are scared to death because more and more people are seeing the truth. Did I say that right? Okay, he's happy with that. For a minute, he was telling me something. He said, "Oh, my words were okay." We have to make sure I get the right words, you know. Stop it. Oh, gosh. He's tickling my hairs. Yeah, I love you too. He's kissing me on the head here. And here. Oh, I love you too, Dave. He's really excited. We got him wound up about 2017. He's really excited for 2017. He says this year is going to have so many new things that our heads are going to be spinning. And okay, he's addressing the fact that I still don't feel that an election happened. He says that's because of all that, what'd you say? Falderdash? He says falderdash goes on with the elections. So this year, even the people who determine who's going to be the president, not us, but you know, those people we can't see, the controllers, the handlers, were surprised at the outcome too. They are losing the control that they had over the way things happen, and they are scared. And so there's going to be a lot of things happening that nobody can anticipate. And he says some of them you just have to roll with the punch. Some of them are going to be wowzer. Are you sure we want to use that word? Yeah, he wants to use wowzer. And he's looking forward to it. And he says don't be afraid to call upon him, because sometimes we're going to be just so astounded that we're going to have trouble believing what we're seeing and hearing happen. But he says, don't be afraid to call on him to come in and confirm that what is happening is going to be okay. It might not look or feel like it is at that moment in time, but down the line, it's going to be for our benefit. Did I say that okay? All right. Yeah, he's happy with that. So he says that's what he sees for 2017. Exciting times.
Anything else?
She always wants more.
True.
That's Nancy. You know that's Nancy. He's laughing. He says, no, I don't have anything else.
Well, this has been such an amazing experience to have him come in and wow. Because we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't. Now, to get this to understand what happened, I turned on the computer, and no sooner did Skype come up than I'm getting a call from a Skype group that we have, and it cuts out immediately, and I went, oh, what's this about? So then I call, and Dolly's going, what's happening? What have I done now? And she just... So Dave, I'm firmly convinced that Dave arranged us to get together in this moment, because you had the time and I had the time to sit down and actually, do this little interview turning into. So he arranged all this. I have no doubt about it, because that's the magic that happens with Wolf Spirit and HSR, and it's Dave in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, there's a story with Stephanie Dietz. She's cleaning her house, and Steph has never met Dave. you know. And all of a sudden there's this being there, and and she knows it's Dave. She's, you know, interacted, you know, energy-wise over when you're talking and stuff. And he's like, Dave, and yes, you got to go on and you got to find Andrew Bartz. He's on a radio show right now. And she's like, what? But she, you know, follows instructions, opens it up, and finds out that the one radio show that Andrew has any week is starting, right? And so then he says, now call. And she's like, I'm supposed to call in. So she makes the call, and they put her on hold. And it wasn't until the last 20 minutes of it that she does get on. But then Andrew did a reading of the Akashic Record that was just absolutely amazing on Shungite. And, of course, Dave and Andrew have had a relationship, in that my understanding is that Andrew really started out with Dave. So it was just, but you knew from the get-go that these things just don't happen. And plus the fact that afterwards, many people told Stephanie that it was virtually impossible to get on a telephone call on that show. And she did, you know. So I'm just explaining some of the things that are, you know, you cannot dismiss Dave's influence. He's very real.
Yeah.
Very real.
Definitely. At first I thought, oh, I'm crazy, I've lost it. And I'm hearing Dave, and I have gone over the edge, folks. But he was persistent. And I kept asking, prove it. You know, that's me. If you're going to tell me something outlandish, prove it. And he would prove it. By the different things he'd say, and someone else would confirm that what he said, and it's always the feeling, the hair standing up, the goosebumps, and this feel like an aura around me that is Dave's, that's Dave. So, I don't know, where was I going with this? Did you direct me here? He says, oh, you're so damn cute, Dolly. Stop it. Yes.
Well, you guys never physically were together. It was always through the airways.
Yeah. And he took to me the first night I went in. I was
you went when you say into chat.
Yeah, into chat. Yeah. Into Wolf Spirit radio station, and in the chat. I was a mess, because I was starting to wake up and feel and see things that I couldn't believe. And he saw I needed help. I needed help right then. And he took me aside, like in a private thing, and he helped to calm me down. And from that moment on, we loved each other. Not a physical, sexual love. We just love each other. And he worked with me and talked with me, and then he started bringing me in on the shows. And then he eventually talked me into, well, he didn't talk me into it. He ordered me to do Durfee, Dolly Reads for You, and it went from there to Dilly Dallying in Dolly World. So Dave has these plans in his agenda for people. So don't be surprised if you feel yourself being pushed in different ways than you ever thought that you never thought about before. He's laughing. He says, you're all needed in different ways, and it's the ways that you have to offer to other people. So, oh, gosh, I keep getting these. I'm getting the cold goosebumps now, which is very confirming to me. He says, yes, definitely let people know out there, everyone who comes into chat, even the people who don't come, everyone has a mission. Everyone has the ability to help someone else in ways they don't even know they're helping them, just by being, just by sharing themselves. And he says that's why he thinks that WSR and HSR is such a success, because the hosts that have been, that are, and that will be have things to offer everyone, and they're all in the field of that person, and all of us coming together and combining what our abilities, talents are, is what is helping to open things. Oh, I can't get the right word. Oh my God, Dave, I'm really, really cold right now. Okay, so it's opening. We are helping to open. Oh, he says, use the words, the new reality. We are helping to open the new reality. And we need to continue doing as we have been doing, and to even us, the hosts, we need to even open up more, so that we can learn more. Because if we learn the more and we share it with people, then it'll get spread around the world. Because you tell one person and they tell 5 others, and it just goes. It just goes like a ripple. When you throw a stone in the water, it's a ripple, and the ripples keep going and going. That's what we are doing. He says, I don't know if I like that. He says, oh, just say it, Dolly, damn it. We're big ripples in life, not just in water. We are big ripples in life. And he doesn't think if he had continued living here that the station would have gone in the direction that it has gone. And he's very grateful that he was able to step out of the way and let things progress the way they have been. And it's not just that he stepped out of the way, he stepped in the way also, because he can be universal, is what he's saying. He doesn't just talk with the people through his microphone on the station. He can go to anybody he wants to now and encourage them to move along in directions he would like them to move along, to where they can help others. Is that it? He says that's it, unless Nancy brings something else out.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Again. I'm thinking. I'm just kind of blown away, too. It's powerful information. New reality. What's he see the new reality as being?
Come on. He says you'll find out when it happens. He can't tell everything. Oh, I got some insight here. Just a minute. He says, on the other side, they know a lot. They don't know everything, but they know a lot, and they cannot share most of what they know from over there, because we came here to experience things. And if he tells us what's going to happen, well, that defeats the whole purpose. So it's going to be good. He says it's looking good. It can be very good. It depends on how people react or what people do. It all depends on us. We can take it to a very good place, or we can allow some of the negative people to get under our skin and influence us negatively. But he says, stay strong. Don't allow the negativity to come in. He says, go toward the positive. If you see an issue and you don't know what to do with it, stop. Think about it. Think about, okay, what if we do this? What if I do that? He says, explore the issue before you act when it's something that makes you stop and wonder, oh, what should I do with this? He said, think it through. Don't just go off half-cocked. Think it through. And that will be a greater help to people than if you would just go off half-cocked. Alrighty then. I won't take it personal. I can tend to go off half-cocked sometimes.
Well,
I like
to think of it as reacting instead of responding. When you respond, you have an emotional boom. Come right back. It's what you've been triggered with. It's what you do. It's what you've learned. Whereas when you are actually reacting, you've got your thought process in it. You're in control. You're in a balanced state. You're not just responding, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he says that's very good, Nancy. Good way to put it.
Thank you. I've been working on this for a while because it's so easy to just respond. You know, somebody says something, it's like pushing a button, and boom, you respond. Uh-huh. And that is probably the number one thing an individual like myself, that I had to learn to take control over. And once you've got control over that response thing, then pushing your triggers. You know, once you shut off all the triggers and you just like, why did you do that? You know? Instead of, I'm going to, thrash at you,
Yeah.
And that, to me, was the turning point in my ability to feel like I was in control of my own space. Not of anything else, but my own space, how I was.
Yeah.
So, I'm so glad he pointed that out. Does he have any other things that, the individual can actually, that he's seen work with people to just get them in control of their own thoughts?
What? Can you be more explicit on what you're asking?
Okay, in other words, the one thing we just talked about is how you don't just respond, you react. You think about things, okay? Is there other things that people can do that will help them get in control of their own being, their own thinking?
Other than stopping yourself when you're alone and thinking about something, share it with someone else who can help to give you a different viewpoint. Share it with someone who's going to be open and help you think through it. He says by sharing with people, more things can get done positively. When you go off on your own and you try to figure out some of these answers all by yourself, you've only got your opinion. Not saying it's wrong, but if you share it with someone else, a group, if you think it needs to be shared with a group in order to come to a better decision within yourself. It all depends on how you feel at that time. Do you feel you can do it yourself? Do you feel you need to share it with someone else? And then when you share it with someone else, do the two of you feel that, well, hey, maybe we need to get some more people involved in this? He says, just be open for what you feel inside. And what? Okay. If we be open, more open for things like this, like what I just described, we can accomplish a whole bunch more. And he is excited because he thinks that's the way things are going to be going in 2017. More people are going to be able to open up to others, and this is going to make for a new reality that has, I don't know how to say that. I know he's showing me a picture. So you have this reality, and it's a new reality. And then you involve some other people. Okay, so you involve someone else. So you have this reality that two people are talking about, and they're sharing their thoughts on this item. And then they decide, oh no, we need to bring in a couple more people. So you've got this reality, but it's being shared with these other peoples, but the new reality has got branches. And then we share it with more people, and then we got all these other branches. And so the new reality is going to be very broad compared to realities we've had before. And sometimes the new reality that everybody's working on is going to branch off into a different kind of a reality. He says we are not done with realities. We're going to have, like a tree, we're going to have the main trunk of the tree with the roots. And the roots of a tree go off in many different directions, and they intertwine, and the tree grows up, and you have branches. And these branches have limbs, or is it limbs and then branches? I don't know, however that works. And then you have leaves on the tree. He says if you can look at the reality like that, where it can tend to go in the different directions, but it works for the trunk. We are all in the trunk with these different thoughts and ideas, and we're going to create these different realities that still come into the one trunk. And he thinks I did pretty good in describing it for what he was meaning. I hope it made sense to you.
Oh, it was awesome. Of course, I was looking at the video where you were putting up your fingers and then more fingers and then more fingers, and you were jiggling them around. And it was, I kept thinking, oh wow, I wish I could, capture the video on this, because it was so demonstrative of what he was talking about. No, you did exceptionally well. Thank you both. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly, it gives you such a good picture. It was such a good picture of the tree. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. And that came from him, not me. I never would have thought of that. That's another way I know that this is real, because I end up saying things I never in the world would have thought of.
I've noticed that too when I'm getting messages from Spirit or wherever we want to call it. these messages in my head, these voices in my head, if they're telling me things that are surprising me, I'm going like, well, it's got to be real because it's surprising me. I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
And when I think of something, I'm not surprised that I thought of it.
Yeah.
Oh, guess who just came on? Colleen's here.
Colleen.
Okay, Dolly's back.
I'm back.
I was telling Colleen that it's been amazing to be with Dave. Just,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it has. And I did it by accident, complete accident. Well, he says it was not an accident.
That's what I felt too, yeah.
But to me it was. I was just farting around. I was just messing around with my Nook. I thought you left. He says, no, Dolly, I never leave you. I'm always with you in some way. In part. That's what he's saying, in part. There's always part of me with you. Well, thank you, Dave. He says, where else would I get my comic relief? What a brat. What a brat. Yeah, I think so. Dave's saying he's thoroughly enjoyed being with us, having this time to chat and share with each other.
Well, thank him. He's the one that arranged it, didn't he? Question mark.
Well, he had some angelic help.
Uh-huh.
He said the angels wanted this to happen, and they included me, and so he's thankful to the angels.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. And see, I was thinking he set it all up, that he's given credit to the angels, and he was a participant like you and I were.
Wow.
Yeah. I never would have thought of that.
Well, I don't think he's ever mentioned it before.
Pretty cool. Dave, you want to tell me about interaction with your angels? Can you share that? Yes, he says that the spirits over in the place he is, in that dimension or realm or whatever, interact with the angels, and they can see the angels, whereas we mostly can't unless they want us to. Whereas over there, he sees the angels, and the angels are still there to help people spirits like Dave. And you still have to ask them for their help, but it's an interaction where they're hands-on because they can see. Dave can see the angels, and that's hands-on. And he says he has called on them several times, a lot of times, and has been helped a lot. He says they give him some knowledge that he needs. What? He says, yes, people say we have all the knowledge we've ever needed. You just go inside and find the knowledge that you have inside. He says that's kind of BS, because you can't remember all the knowledge that you have where he is. And he says, and where he is, there's even more knowledge in another place. Well, how do you move between there and that? He can't tell me everything. Tell me. I want to know. He says, don't be so impatient. You'll find out when you get there. Even he doesn't know everything. And so his interaction with the angels is helping him to learn more that he wants to know. And it's a different kind of knowledge that he's wanting to learn, that they're sharing with him, than we have here. And so he says the angels are always with us. They will always be with us. They were created for us. And even he has a football field full of angels and more assigned to him. And he just gets to have a more in-depth type of relationship with them. He says it's the same, but yet it's different. And that's all he can really share about that. Thank you for sharing that. I did not know that before. And he says he's just very happy that this was arranged so that he could talk with the people, the listeners, and so he could feel you, Nancy. Has he been rubbing on your arm and your head?
I'm not sure because I'm kind of like not in my body, you know. I'm floating out here.
Are you?
Yeah. He might not want to answer this question, but I'm interested in anything you might have to say about the nature spirits and the jinn and the green man.
Oh my gosh, he's all excited. He says, yes, they're real.
Oh, can he expound on them?
He's telling me, yes, there's fairies coming to my fairy thing. Annette and I have this fairy garden, and we've invited the inside fairies to it because I've heard some people get insulted if you ask fairies to come inside. But we've invited the inside fairies, and he says, yes, there are inside fairies and there are outside fairies. And there are fairies that do both. And he says, there are gnomes, there are billy gruffs, is what he's saying to me. The ones who live under the bridges, trolls, and they all have their purposes, and they get distracted with fun. They like to have fun. The trolls even have fun being trolly. He says, what about the green man, Dave? What can you tell us about the green man? He says, the green man isn't really a one entity thing. The green man, he's describing, he says the green man is kind of like a green mist. And he goes and does his green man mist thing, which he's not going to share with me what that is. Why not? Some things are just not for my knowledge at this point.
Okay, can you ask him about dragons?
Oh, he loves the dragons. He rides on the dragons. Oh, wow. Oh, I got goosebumps and cold again. He says dragons are becoming more, we're going to know more that there are dragons. Dragons are real. They are in the process of becoming more interactive, and eventually they will become visible. He says that'll be many years, but in the meantime, they're going to be more interactive with mankind And that's all he can tell me about it. Jeez, I get right there, and then he pulls a string, and I can't get any farther. He plays with dragons, he says. He gets to play with the dragons. Some of them don't breathe fire, he said. Like people think of fire-breathing dragons. He says there's only a few different kinds that do that. Most of them don't breathe fire. And they're very playful. He says they're very playful. And they like being able to transport beings from place to place and communicate with them. And we're going to be able to communicate more as time goes on, as they become more, as we become to realize them more. He says, yeah, they're fun. He likes playing with the fairies. They're very real. He likes being with the gnomes and the trolls. They interact more gruff than fairies. Fairies are light and play, but the trolls and the gnomes they're more, the only way he can describe it is they're more serious, but yet they aren't real serious. They don't take life real serious. They don't take being as serious as they come across. They have light hearts. I don't know what other words to use. He's telling me they have light hearts. They don't have these heavy hearts. They have light hearts. And they can get right down to business when they have to.
A lot like Dave was when he was here.
Yeah. That's why he gets along with them so well.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, he's snickering about that one. Leave it to Colleen to come up with that, he says. Yeah. And what else did you want me to ask him about?
Well, if he's into answering any questions, what can he share with us about Antarctica?
I'm listening. Hold on. Antarctica, Dave. He says, yes, there are beings in Antarctica. They are human beings. There are some that have come from a couple different planets. Oh, he's such a stinker. I can type this to you, but I don't think I can say it. What's that guy's name? Oh. Okay, so there are activities going on in the Antarctica, and he says they aren't necessarily good for humans, but they're a nice place to corral some of the humans that need to learn not to be so controlling type peoples.
Colleen just typed in.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting, Colleen. He's showing me there's different groups in the Antarctica, both poles, he says. The North Pole is a friendlier place to be than the South Pole. The South Pole seems to have, he said Nazis went to the South Pole. Also, some other beings were there, and now they're interacting with humans that have made their way there, and he's
would this be the inner Earth people? Is he talking about the inner Earth people?
He says no, absolutely not. They're different entities.
Okay.
There's the inner Earth people are between the poles, is what he's telling me. The ones on the poles are completely different than the inner Earth people. The South Pole's peoples, entities, they are needing to learn how to be nice. That's how he's telling me. They need to learn how to play nicely. They fight among themselves because they want to have control. Control, he says. But yet there's groups there who have learned to play better with each other. And there are groups there. Ooh, now I'm getting the cold chills again. There's a group there that was sent, like a heavenly group, who were sent there to work with these people who need to learn to play nice. And they have their own little spaces. Everybody seems to have their own spaces, and they do intermingle, but they tend to go back to their own spaces. And part of the big part down there is that those people need to learn to play nice. The North Pole, he is showing me a bunch of like scientists and some ETs. They're really good ETs, and they really are ETs. He says, Dolly, they really are ETs, because you know how I have my doubts about some people that say they're ETs, and I have not met an ET that I know of. So he's saying that these people in the North Pole, and I'm getting all good feels for those people, they are trying to better not just Earth, but the universe. Their main goal is to better Earth and the Earthlings, those people who are truly Earthlings. And so they're not experimenting. They're not taking people, stealing people. They are running scenarios with each other. And they are running experiments in different languages and attitudes. They tend to be they've been lately, some bad influences have been trying to infiltrate them, and they have been ejecting them out of their territory, because they really are basically there to work together to try to figure out how to make everything work together better. Colleen says he's answering my questions before I can get them typed. What is NWO?
New World Order.
Oh. I'm trying to listen. No, Colleen, he's saying really those people are so stuck in their own selves. They really do not choose to participate in the rest of the world. They're in their own little world, is what he said. They're in their own little world. And it doesn't seem to be a fun one.
As long as he's taking questions, what does he have to say about the Trump presidency?
He says he kind of addressed that earlier in our conversation. Wait, what? He's telling me something really shocking. He says it's still kind of up in the air as to, is Trump going to take that position? Not Trump's decision so much. Is he going to be able to step into that Oval Office and do stuff? He says that's still kind of floating in the air even there where he is. He said people where he is, or spirits where he is, they don't have the answer yet either. What's going to happen? He says we are entering something so new because people are their eyes are opening up. They're starting to see things, and they're starting to feel things, and they're starting to change things with their thoughts into more positive things. He says there's some that are waking up and seeing things, and they're scared, and so they're getting the negativity in there, and that those who are waking up and wanting to go more positive, he says there are more of those than the negative ones, but this Trump issue is still up in the air, and it's going to depend on what people are sending out to the universe. He says nobody can answer that right now, Dolly, at least not in his realm. That they are also looking at that with great interest to see what's going to happen, which directions are going to be taken. He says he thinks lots of different directions are going to be taken than what we could even think of if he ends up in the Oval Office. He says because of what just happened, the new territories are going to be explored. It isn't the same old stuff.
Okay, by what just happened, is it referencing the presidential election?
Yes.
Okay.
And he says you can't even call it an election.
Why is he saying that?
It's a conglomeration. He says that some of what happened was due to popular demand. What about the vote, Dave? What about the vote? He says, no, Dolly, the votes are non-existent in what he's telling me. He says because of what people were sending out and because of the old regime the old regime is running scared. He says scared as hell right now. They had input in this. Regular humans had input in this. And there's some spiritual fighting going on over what they want to see happen, who they want to see sitting in that Oval Office. So it's different than it's ever been before. It wasn't just the old regime appointing the one they want, the puppet they want. The old regime got turned upside down, and they don't know what to do. But they had it's a bunch of things all together that is still in the pot being stirred, and they don't know whether it's going to be cake or ice cream. He's giving me those examples. He says it's still not determined.
Well, if I've got my choice, I want the ice cream, but they're both great. As long as it's chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. Lots of chocolate, Dave. I didn't think of it that way. All I could think was it's going to be new because nobody knows what direction Trump would go, what decisions he would make. But Dave is saying it's not even determined yet if Trump is going to be the person in the Oval Office. Interesting. And he's sitting back with his arms crossed and he's got his legs up and he said, it's going to be very interesting, Dolly. Even on his side.
So am I to surmise that it depends a lot on how human beings react to create the future? That human beings are definitely interactive in this process?
Yes. He said human beings have finally taken the bull by the horns. It's not complete yet, but they are finally getting to where they really are in control, but the old regime is still fighting. Knowing that they have lost the fight, they're still fighting. Wow.
So you got any recommendations as to how we can help?
He says, keep thinking on the positive sides of everything. He says, there's so many negative people trying to pull you back because they don't want change. They're afraid of what would happen if change happened. He says, there's going to be lots of issues that come up. And stay on the positive side. See what you can do to make it better, is what he's saying. In every situation, see what you can do to make it better. And work with people. Don't think you're the savior of being. Work together. He said, like I said earlier, it's going to be known as unity time. And he says, that's all I'm saying on that. Okay. Well, thank you for saying that.
Anything else you'd like to pass on?
He says, before it was pull your boots up and strap them on tight. Now we have passed that to where it is put your words into actions. This is action times. And it'll be good times. He says if we all work together, it'll end up to be good. It may look not so good at some times, but the end result will be good. As long as we work together and try to bring the scared and negative people out of their fear. And that's all he has to say on that.
Okay. No, I didn't get up today thinking I would be interviewing Dave Corso.
I didn't either. Wow.
Yeah.
I was just going to take a picture of the carpet and send it to Annette.
Oh my God. Instead we've done a 2-hour show.
Oh my gosh.
2 hours and 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Why can't I believe it? I say that lately. Wow, I can't believe this. Well, I need to start believing it.
Well, again, it's like he says, it's time for action. It's a time, and the action that most people can take and should take probably, or I'm sure of, is to take action over every single thought you have. Every time you have a negative thought, stop it.
Yes.
Reverse it.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is mind games. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to say. It's all mind games. The more positive we can become, the more we will influence a positive result.
Yeah. And do it together, he says. Do it together. Do it together. There's strength in the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at the vets. 2,000 were supposed to be there and 4,000 showed up.
Yeah. He's so proud of them. His chest just puffs out.
Well, me too. But I also find it, to be just such an amazing. You can't write the story. Anybody that wrote this story would be, it's only fiction.
Uh-huh.
It is a never-ending story, but this never-ending story has themes, and the themes are all coming together at one time. It's fascinating.
The trunk of the tree.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Colleen just wrote, she said that the vets are saying if 4,000 isn't enough, next time they'll bring 10,000.
Dave says they're gonna go to different places too.
Oh yeah, and what you're looking at is what I believe was the image that the founding fathers had when they created the Second Amendment, and by saying that you have the right to own a gun, really was not only do you have the right, but you have the responsibility of owning a gun. And I think that what they imaged was an army of people all through the United States that would be there for the people. And instead, all of that was turned around and they became the army for the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing the vets realize that they'd been fighting for a corporation and dying and suffering for a corporation. And now they have reversed that, and now they're turning around against the corporation, saying, we actually took an oath to protect the American people, not to protect the corporation. And yet it's a trained militia. And I'm sure that I find the whole thing in Standing Rock to have been stupid by the powers that be from a strategic standpoint. You managed to unite the veterans of the United States on the cause of protecting the water. I mean, whoa.
It all backfired in their faces. Just the opposite happened of what they wanted to do.
Or you had people in there that were manipulated by, like Dave pointed out, spirits and other beings that are influencing us, in this collective reality building.
Yeah.
And maybe they were working on, like, the governor. I mean, the governor has made virtually, in my opinion, every mistake you could make. Maybe he's working for the good side, because by making all these mistakes, he's forcing the people to unite.
True.
Yeah. We don't really know. What about...
Oh, Nancy, Dave is always cited. He says that's exactly what he's talking about. Turn the negative to the positive.
Rather an abrupt end to a very interesting conversation. However, neither myself nor Dolly, and I suspect Dave, felt we were in charge, and that there was a message to be delivered. And I think that was it. Take the bad and make good out of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to some of the clips that I have of Dave on other shows, and it'll give you a feeling for how Wolf Spirit Radio came about, and what it's like to be a super soldier, like Dave was, and his basic philosophy. May 4th, 2013, with Matt Navarro.
And part of that education method is what we're doing here at Wolf Spirit Radio. Wolf Spirit Radio is, as you know, an internet radio platform, and I love this thing. I love the technology we have here. It goes so far beyond, the radio of the past. If I had a small show on a small town radio that had a 5 kilowatt transmitter, I might reach 15 miles, 20 miles out from the radius of the signal, and that's the greatest of my audience reach. But on the internet, we have this ability to archive the shows and broadcast live to a potential audience of 7.5 billion people. And so that's what we do at Wolf Spirit Radio, is use this internet radio platform to educate you. And I wanted to introduce you and bring to you a little background of Wolf Spirit Radio. The man who is the producer of this program that you're listening to, and produces just about everything on Wolf Spirit Radio, he's just a working machine. Is a very interesting guy. Is Dave Corso, and he is the brains and the body behind Wolf Spirit Radio. So we'll spend some time talking to him, learning about him because of his interesting background, and talking to him about Wolf Spirit Radio. So tell us about how you started Wolf Spirit Radio and why.
All right. In 2009, when I was at the Awake and Aware conference, I met a guy named... What's hell getting old? You can't remember names. Jeremy Duncan. And a couple months later, he started PIG Radio, which stands for Project Information Generation Radio on Blog Talk Radio. And he interviewed me and quite a few other people, and then he said, I can't do this anymore. Would you like to take it over? So I called it PIG Radio 2. Project Information Generation Radio 2. And I moved it from hosting site to hosting site, and just didn't feel good about who I was with. So in 2011, and then I got together with Sam Muggsy, and I did a lot of shows for her on Blog Talk Radio under the guise of Free Thinking Radio. So I decided I'm going to have my own radio station. So we built up a website, and we started out first with one called Wolf Group Radio. But there was a falling out, not on my part, but on the young man that was my webmaster, because I had to make two very simple changes in Firefox, because at that time it was a known problem in Firefox, and he accused me of saying he didn't know how to program. I said, that's not it. I tried to explain it to him for 2 days, and after 2 days I said, that's it, I'm done. And in October of 2011, we put together Wolf Spirit Radio. And since then, we've had over 115,000 visits, or 113,000 visits to my website. And I now have 25 hosts. We broadcast 24/7. And right now, every Friday is a mini marathon for Rebecca Jernigan.
Tell us about her show.
And that's from... She has a show called Journeys with Rebecca. And she is a wonderful lady who is all of 5 feet tall. And she retired supposedly in March because she's been doing internet radio for almost 11 years. And she and I talk frequently, and she said, well, I have too many people who want to come back. Well, she and Sam Muggsy are good friends.
So here we are with the New World Order Report. Now, you were telling us about getting the station going, right?
All right, there's a gentleman in Scotland named Jeremy Perrone, and he's absolutely brilliant in everything he does. He's a musician, he's an IT guy, he has his own internet radio website, and he and I just literally put together Wolf Spirit Radio. We're now on the 2nd edition of the website itself, and it's interesting that as it's grown, I've learned so much more. I thought I had a good education because I wasn't educated in Nevada, and I have 6 college degrees. I'm not your average dummy. But what's interesting about that is I was going to a junior college in California, and there was 3 other guys who worked for the phone company, strangely enough, and we all had Special Forces type backgrounds. We were invited by the University of California at Hayward to take part in a special program geared toward business administration. I was always an engineer, so hell, that was easy for me. And in 5 years, we all had our master's degrees. And 3 years later, I went back and I asked one of my instructors that I ran into, I said, can you help me find my records up at Cal State Hayward? He said, yeah. So he went into the records and he couldn't find them. And he asked the dean about it, and the dean says, what are you looking for those for? He said, well, one of the guys asked me about it. He said, those records were taken down at the order of the government. And that's all I can say about it.
So they want to make you like you don't exist. You know, and folks, I want you to realize what Dave's doing is dangerous, okay? We kind of kid about this, but what Dave's doing, what I do is dangerous. I'll give you an example. Detlef, one of our hosts at United We Strike, has
he's an amazing
gentleman. He speaks in German, so he has a wide audience in Europe that's German-speaking. He had mentioned something about a German government official preventing a homeless person, unemployed person, his benefits. That government official didn't like what Detlef said, so they complained. The German government complained to Switzerland. Switzerland went to his house with 15 SWAT dudes and took all of his equipment and shut him down. That's the kind of danger we face here doing what we do here. Dave, tell us how many canines you have. 8 canines. How many wolves?
8. Only 1 purebred wolf and 3 half.
So I can understand that Wolf Spirit Radio motif, I guess. So, Kay, we're going to have to wrap it up for Dave. In closing, any thoughts for our audience?
Don't be afraid to be who you are. If someone says you can't do that, ask them, why can't I do that? Then go ahead and do it to show you can. And if you get thoughts in your head that aren't yours, tell them to go away. They don't have permission to infiltrate your body or your brain. But first of all, you got to pull this little kid out that runs your life. Sit him in front of you and tell that little kid, your days of running my life are over.
November 18th, 2013, Dave Corso with JP.
it's interesting when I look back now over the last, well, since September of 2009, the events that have happened to me that have led to wolfspiritradio.com. And someone says, well, you don't have a lot of listeners at any one given time. I said, you know what? Numbers don't mean nothing to me. Well, why not? I said, because the people who listen, who come to Wolf Spirit Radio, are either awake or they're waking up. And they want something that doesn't tell you mainstream lies. And I have people that give the same opinion on different things, but it's their opinion, not mine. And heaven knows you and I don't agree on everything, but good God, we're still here pulling together, aren't we?
We may be on different carriages, but we're on the same train.
Thank you.
This is the clip from the Project Camelot conference in September of 2009. Duncan O'Finian was there, and they discussed the super soldier program that Dave experienced in what is called the first generation super soldier.
My son, I have a son that's named David Thomas. He has an unusual knack of, he'll ask me what I think are stupid questions till I think about it. My nightmare started in 1983. And my son and I are sitting in a little two-man rubber life raft fishing in Strawberry Lake in California. He looked at me and said, Daddy, I got a question for you. I said, what's that? He says, what did you do in Vietnam? What did you really do? Because at times, man, you just act really weird. I said, he's 9 years old. What's he asking me if I did in Vietnam for? I said, I think I did this. That night, the nightmare started. Duncan and I have been through iterations of life together, as have Allison and I and Laura and I. I'm here to meet people to tell you this. Whatever Duncan says, you can take it to the bank. You all have good hearts and souls, but I've seen one thing, because my talent is taking a mosaic and making a picture. A lot of you have a lot of the pieces. We need to sit down as a group and not design a camel, which is a horse designed by committee, but sit as a group, bring out one truth. The truth stands by itself. And what is the truth? Well, it's something that's politically acceptable today that may not be politically acceptable tomorrow. Or the truth is this: relaying an event or situation exactly as it is without taking to or adding from that event to make someone right or somebody wrong. Believe me, I know that's true. People say I'm crazy. Oh, I'm not crazy. It just happens you're not in my normal realm. I have wolves. I raise wolves. And I have a wolf that lives in my house. He's a purebred wolf. I have a wolf named Herc. And Duncan and I made a 300-mile trip. 4. It was about a 400-mile trip one way. I took Herc with me because I felt so inspired. Now, this wolf was what, 4 months old? Mm-hmm. He was 4 months old. He got in the car and just like it was normal. 150 miles down the road, he stands up and looks at Duncan, looks at me, and I said, I think we better stop. He had to do his thing. He got back in the car. We drove on. We got to our destination. And I said, I thought to myself, this is a purebred wolf. And this woman had 2 little dogs, as I recall, and a cat. My wolf got along fine with them. Coming home. Thank you, Bart. I appreciate that.
You had to do it, didn't you?
Well, I got a thing with dogs. But I have had some amazing adventures with Dunk. Sitting in my living room, like it says in the interview. Now, stereo and things were turned off. It shouldn't make a noise, right? How about a loud pop that hurts your ears? Have you ever experienced that? Electronics go pop? It's a psychic attack. I have a lot of fun with life. Project Talent, like Dunk said, is a far-reaching talent. A far-reaching program, rather. My talent, among others, is taking a mosaic of little bits of information and giving you a very clear picture. That was been brought home this weekend. There are people here that I was meant to meet. There's 3 in the back room right now. I wasn't taken for periods of time. I was taken for the summers. I was a summer school, so to speak. My training started when I was 6 years old, when my brother brought home, who happened to be a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps at the time, brought home a .22 target rifle. That was part of my training because he was also in early project talent, as I found out later. But I would be gone in the summer, come home in time to go to school. And I had all these memories of being with my Uncle Ed, who was a peddler, great con man. I asked my mother one time before she died, I said, Mom, I got a question for you. And she said, what? I said, I have these memories of being with my Uncle Ed in the summertime, going out on the road. She says, you were never with your Uncle Ed. I said, then what did I do? She said, when you get older, you'll figure it out. And Mother gave me that smile that says, you've asked enough questions. Mother, God rest her soul, went home in 1993. Before she went, she showed me a journal she had kept at the time I was in the service. Every time I got hurt, every time something significant happened on a mission, she wrote down where I was, what I was doing, and where I got hurt or what the event was. I said, how did you know this? She says, I am your psychic anchor. I said, I didn't know that. She said, there's lots you don't know yet. And my mother, God rest her, was an angel. Boy, could she be a holy terror. Now, I'm different than Dunk. I don't have any Native American blood in me that I know of. However, I say I'm Sicilian, that's because my mother was Scotch-Irish. My father was purebred Sicilian, and I was raised by my grandparents. And it's interesting to know that when I was talking to the third member of our team, psychic abilities are alive and well. I'm just finding out what mine are. I never thought to even question myself about it. But last night we were sitting in the cafe. Allie and I looked at each other at the same time, and somebody was there. Somebody was there. There was a psychic vampire, was the second thing we noticed. Robots don't know they're being used. They don't know what training they've had. They have no knowledge, no memory. So we can't hold it against them personally. But understand, as many people as there are different programs, because everybody has different natural native talents that have to be capitalized on. And I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you did. I have 2 more, actually.
Go ahead.
You almost actually lead it into them. The second question is, how can we communicate with the members of the subsequent programs, the next generations that they were talking about, and help them to understand what's going on with them?
I don't think you want to. We are the way we are without explanation. We don't have one. As I said earlier, we were never supposed to retrieve our memories, at least not at this age. I helped Dave get his back. I got mine back due to an automobile accident. So I woke up early. The generation of people that are in this project today, which would be the 4th generation, geez, that is a very scary thought, to try to locate one of these guys and communicate and try to reason with that person if they're in an altar.
Used to be they had one computer chip system inside here. Then there was 2. Now there's 4. Same size chip. So his analogy that he wants is, what's the 4th generation like? They're probably in 5th or 6th generation by now. That to me is absolutely terrifying. And I'm scared of damn few things in this world. And we're not talking about the yellow snake either. All right, I'll confess, I hate snakes.
Let me do something. I won't do it to you. Listen, long and short, you do not create an army unless you intend to deploy that army. This fourth generation super soldier, warrior soldier, whatever you want to call it, are some bad people. I couldn't stop one. I was the best we had at my generation. I cannot stop one. The possibility is very, very real. They will be turned loose on the American populace. What do you want to do about it? I want to stop it. If they turn this fourth generation loose on us, we're toast. And they will try to reactivate each and every one of us from first, second, and third generation to join with them. If we don't expose them now and try to at least put up a blockade, we will not have a chance. They are that good. They are that strong. They are that invincible. We have very, very little time in which to pull this thing off. So what do you want to do about it?
Jeremiah Duncan interviewing Dave in February 2010.
Not bad. Sitting here in my little office, computer room, with my favorite wolf laying there on the floor between me and Aaron.
Well, I can't thank you enough for making an appearance on the Project Camelot website. You know, I just discovered the website, you know, back in late 2008, and ever since it's just been an unbelievable source of information. I wanted to ask you what the status was on the MK Ultra conference and what was going on with that.
It seems like every time the group would get a hotel lined up, the hotel would suddenly say, "I'm sorry, we can't do that." And then more than one guest was threatened if they appeared on the program.
Now, these are the types of things you guys deal with on a day-to-day basis with your high-profile image at this point, right?
Yes.
Wow, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm sure the listeners out there are just they don't always get that perspective of what you guys actually go through. And with what Aaron has talked about recently in the most recent interview with Project Camelot, I was wondering if you have any important information that people need to hear from your perspective on what Aaron suggested is happening in Yemen or anywhere else on planet or off planet at this time.
Well, Aaron's down there on the other, he's a couple feet away from me on one of the other computers in my network.
Handling chat room stuff.
He's handling chat room stuff. He's my appointment secretary. And he's done a lot of research, and I've done a lot of research, and we compare notes, and everything he said, as far as we can tell, being verified from at least 3 and then sometimes 5 sources, is absolutely on the spot.
Excellent. I have to agree. I do a lot of research myself. It seems almost every time Aaron posts something, I'm reading it, and it triggers me to go down the road to post something else, and it's like, it's just spreading information, and that's what we're trying to do here, is provide information for the public who most out there aren't even aware of Project Camelot or what's going on, but at least now they're getting somewhat like a million hits a month.
Well, it's interesting. This all started with Awake and Aware, which was precluded by the foundation that Duncan and I built with the interview with Carrie and Bill. Now, we had hoped that this would awaken a lot of other people to the fact that they're not alone. And we have had, when I speak of we, I talk about Dunk, me, Aaron, Bill, Carrie, and a lot of other people that we have found out now, or obviously we're part of a team, because there's many people that have come forward and talked to me that they look me in the eyes and they know me and they've known me for a long time, and I look in their eyes and I've known them. And it just...
Is that when the memories start coming back? I know you've mentioned before how, you know, memories are just triggered when you have those experiences, when you meet those people.
Yes. And what's interesting is when we get together, there will be a memory triggered, and maybe 3 days later someone will say, I know exactly what that was, and all of a sudden they fill in that memory and the light goes on really bright. Aaron and I do that to each other all the time here.
we have a way of really putting energy out. Each individual really doesn't know how powerful they are, and you guys have been through some of the training that has really been able to help you develop those abilities that we have. And I think when you guys get together, that you really feed off of each other, and that it must be magic just to be around you. And I speak that because I was around you. When I was at the Awaken Aware conference, I happened to walk up in the middle of the night and see you and Dunk and Aaron sitting there with two other young ladies, and I, as nervous as I was, I just sat down and I asked if I could join you guys, and you were more than welcome to shake my hand, and you showed me your ring, which I wasn't very good.
That's where that is actually a ring a Native American friend of mine gave me.
Right, and if I remember correctly, it was from a Navajo reservation, and it was the man in the maze.
It depends upon which way you wear it.
That's correct. That is correct.
If you wear it with the male symbol toward you, you're going into the maze. Me, I'm out of the maze.
And that's right. That's what's going on here. Is a lot of people are still in the maze, and hopefully we can make an effect on them so that we can bring them out of that maze, because it's really important that we get to that point in this evolution of consciousness and shifting of a paradigm that's upon us, and it's like there's no more time. It's right now. I mean,
Roman asked a question in the room. He said, have I met other beings and other cyborgs? Well, I've met a lot of other beings, Roman. The other night I had two gentlemen appear to me that were dressed in white, spoke excellent English. I shook their hands and they were warm, and they said, we have a message for you. I said, what's the message? He said, whatever Loki told you is wrong, because Loki's not who he appears to be. I said, I know that. They said, we just want to bring you a word of, reassurance from your Father in heaven. I said, thank you. Aaron and I were, just before Christmas, Aaron and I did some shopping down in Vegas, and there was a woman there, a young woman, but she had very old eyes, and she had no pupils. Her eyes were just black.
Wow.
And now, see, it's interesting about this movie,
Avatar?
Avatar. That's reality, folks. That is reality now. Because they thumb our nose in it. But I have this to say to everyone out there who's listening. If you hear someone that's saying something that you don't understand, ask them to clarify it. Don't be afraid, because not everyone in this world is crazy. The crazies are politicians, lawyers, and doctors, and big business. There's no such thing as a stupid question. What there are stupid answers.
Well, there you have it. 2016, New Year's Eve with Dave Corso, who is technically a dead man, but who is very much alive and vibrant to us. And for 2017, Dave's message is to stay focused on creating a new reality by claiming dominion over ourselves by controlling our own thoughts. Twist the negative into positive by using the power of our own individual thoughts, united with others who believe and work for a new reality of awesome potential. Can we all evolve into super soldiers who work to protect the weak, who calmly uncover the lies and secrets to awaken humanity, who see their mission as one of working together with compassion and empathy towards all life? Maybe. It's all up to us. This is the last Saturday of December of 2016, New Year's Eve, and normally on the fourth Saturday, our guest host is Christia Cummings-Slack. She put together a little blurb that talks about angels, one angel in particular. And as Dave has pointed out to us, the angels are very real. They're always there. They're with us anytime we need them, just by asking. They're even for Dave on the other side. And it is quite likely that it was an angelic intervention here that got all this put together. So I'm going to turn it over to Christia so that she can give you an angel card reading. And from Haggy Shack Radio, all the host and producer, and from Wolf Spirit Radio, JP, Colleen, both of them producing, both of them making all this happen. But the hosts also make it happen, and of course the audience. We thank you so very, very much. May 2017 be full of joy. And here's one last angelic message from 2016.
Greetings. Hi, I'm Christia Cummings Slack, and I am coming you to this happy holy day season. I'd like to wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holy Days. I have a message from the angels for you this holy day season. Archangel Anashel, no worries. No worries. So what that means is when you put your prayers and you're asking for assistance from the universe, trust that your prayers are being answered and you really do have no worries. Archangel Anashel brings in the energy of pure grace. What does a state of grace feel like? Anashel will help you to feel this feeling of pure grace, a feeling that all is truly taken care of, all is well, no matter what may happen. Anashel will help you to feel this grace in your heart and help you to accept that all truly can be well. Life can be good, and no other shoe is going to fall. Open to being optimistic without secretly wondering when something bad may happen. A state of grace is the feeling without the hidden worry that all is truly well, truly not well. Anashel says all is truly well. Give thanks to Anashel. Give thanks to your angels. And trust that in this beautiful, magical season that is the holy days, that when you ask, things will be taken care of by you and your angels. Blessings to you all. I'm so grateful to be part of Wolf Spirit Radio and Hacky Shack Radio. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessings to all.